Hello students. Today we will study English chapter 1, The Best Christmas Present from the book Honeydew of class A. So I will summarize the lesson and will tell you in the form of story. In this way you will remember it for much longer time. So before we proceed further, I want to tell you there are some dates or period of time in the history of the world that are so significant that everyone knows and remember them. One such date and event happened in the world history, and that was the war between the British and the German in 1914. Do you remember any verse or exciting moment of your past? Okay, answer me later. So here comes the chapter of the characters of the story. First is author himself, Michael Morpurgo. Second character, Mr. Jim Macpherson, captain of the British Army. Uh, Third is Connie, wife of Mr. Jim Macpherson, age 101 years. And in this story, right now, she's staying in a nursing home. Her address is Burlington House, Dorchester Road. Fourth character is Mr. Hans Wolf, officer of German Army. He is from Dusseldorf. He plays cello, means a large violin. He loves reading books. His favorite writer is Thomas Hardy. He had one son of 6 months. So the story goes like this. Years back, the author went in a junk shop. There he saw a roll-top desk, but it was in a very bad condition. If the author goes for a new one, it would be very expensive. So he brought that old desk to his home. While repairing in the workshop, which was just behind his garage, he found a letter in the box, and he was a bit confused whether to open the envelope and read the letter or not, because it was written by someone else uh, to Miss Coney. It was a letter from Mr. Jim. So he opened it. Do you want to know what is written in that letter? Amazing thing that you might have never imagined in your life, that two enemies could ever become friends. कट्टी दोस्ती तो चलती ही रहती है, but this was the war time, and it was between two countries. Anyway, let's come back to the story. So the letter by Jim to Connie, uh, he says that during the wartime, on Christmas night, German came out of their trench and waved bottles and white flag. The British Army first thought that it was a trick, but later they too came out of the trench, and both the army soldiers met each other, shook hands and exchanged greetings, and shared cakes, etc. Both officers had a long talk. They played football in no man's land, and after enjoying together, they all went to their respective fields, but no one was happy to leave each other. Means nobody wants to fight. Everybody wants to live a peaceful life. After reading this exciting incident of past, author searched for Mrs. Coney. After finding Mrs. Coney, who was now a very old lady and does not remember much of her olden time, as she was alone, she's staying in a nursing home. When Arthur reached, he said, "I brought a Christmas present for you." And he handed over the letter to Coney. Uh, she said, the author suddenly saw a glow of happiness, and Coney also recognized the letter. Then she held his hand, and tears rolled down her eyes. Student, this was the most emotional um, time when the stranger was in front, and she mistook the stranger and thought that her husband has returned. So she held the author's hand and said, "You read the letter for me, how long you took to come back to return from the field, war field." And so Jim read, so author read this him for her, and she even shared the cake which she had prepared for this special Christmas time. And so this is the story, and I hope that you understood the story. Read it well. Here I'm giving, you will find the hard words, go through it, find out the meaning, and this will be your homework.